3-week course, Expressive Portraits. So Expressive Portraits is pretty much, well, we're painting portraits and we want to get a likeness of the subject so you can tell who it is, but it's not so much about the subject as it's about the paint marks, the colour and the way you put it together. So when you look at it, you're kind of thinking, wow, you know, looking at all the paint marks and the layers and things like that. But you also can recognise the subject. So we're not looking for identical likeness or anything like that. Or even detail all over. So for example, you can tell these are Frida, but they both look pretty different and it's actually from the same photo subject. But you can see how different, just where different paint marks sit and how large or small the subject is on the board, how it can pick up different things in Frida or the person. So lots of loose brush marks in the larger areas, and then I sort of came in and detailed around the nose and mouth kind of thing. So we start with big expressive sort of strokes, brush mark. Later, sort of when you get all that done, you can think about where you want to put your detail, which is usually around the features. So what we're doing today is I've got a whole lot of images, so you can choose one. And we've got one that's without a filter and one I've put through a filter. I've got this program called Comic Life. There's a whole lot of programs you can get with different filters. But what it's done is it's broken down the detail and made it into the big shapes. So you can see, rather than looking at the features and everything, you're looking at shapes of colour and tone and how they're placed. And that really helps with just what you want to put down in the first layers of painting. We really don't want to put any of the detail down, we just want to block it out in these big shapes.
Did you say it was called Comic Life?
Comic Life, yes. And actually, have you got it on your phone, Comic Life? And does it do this filter or not? Yes, so you can Life, Comic Life. I've got it on my computer like a bigger program, but you can get a small app on your phone and it does this. I didn't think it did that.
Yeah, it does.
But it does.
It's so cool. I
So
can
you
so
can get
see
it
that
on
that
your
makes it so much easier.
The shapes,
Yeah. So it's only a couple of bucks on the phone.
Yeah, $8.
Yeah. Whereas the one on the computer's a bit more like 50 or 60.
Is it?
Yeah. It's for making comics. So today I'm going to do a demo, either that one or not that one. Done that one.
They've done.
Or that one. One or the other.
I do like her.
I know she's gorgeous. Ooh. Because it's sort of the different colours. Look, this one's more yellow, this one's more pink. Today we're just going to work on a white surface. Next week you can prepare a surface with a coloured ground. And when I mean coloured ground, I don't mean too dark. So, you know, something a bit more rustic like that, mostly light. This has got a few layers on it, or even that will work. Those kind of lighter tones, not too dark. So we're going to trace the outline of the face on this. So we want to have a surface that we can see. Even that would work, or that kind of thing would work for next week. And you can paint on a canvas sheet or a canvas or a board. I love these boards. These are MDF, 9mm. You can screw or staple hooks wires straight into the back, so you can just hang them on the wall like that, which is really handy. And you got to paint the back and sides as well. And I sand the sides and then give them a few coats so they look quite nice like that, and they can be framed as well. Right, so we've got some obvious light and shadow on the face, nothing too washed out. That's a good one. And that's a good one too. She's really good with the dark, see lots of light and shadow, so these kinds of things work. That's an AI.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's AI.
Wow.
I know. It's incredible, isn't it?
AI is pretty amazing.
Yeah, and they make good reference photos for paintings actually, so don't be afraid to use them. That one, okay.
I like them both.
So here we go.
Both beautiful.
So this is what you'll get today. So I'll do that one there. Put that over there. Carbon paper, I've got a whole lot of carbon paper. So you can trace it on. And I'm just going to choose a surface, so what, maybe on there. On there. Actually, I'll do it on white on here. So I'm going to get, you don't want to trace all we're doing is putting the features in the place where they've got to be. We don't need any detail in the trace. It's just an outline So you don't have to worry or think about the drawing, because it's all about painting today. That's what we're worrying about. So figure out your placement. Use the back of your paintbrush. Don't use pencil. Trash the image that you want to look at later. So if I just trace the main shapes, especially the line between the mouth, the nose holes. Don't worry about the lines down the side of the nose. Just go like that. Check it. That's close enough. That's all we want, really. Right. This one, so next to, I like it about the same level as, you know, what I'm painting on here, so I'll do it there, but actually I'll do it this side because I'm going to work from that, so I can explain what I'm doing and you can see what I'm doing. Can everyone see?
Yep.
Good. So this is what I want to work from pretty much until the last 5-10 minutes of the painting, so ignore that. Yeah, get those shapes down. So colours, we want to start with something in the mid to dark tones. So not the darkest tone, because you want to be able to go darker on top of what you map out, and you also want to be able to go lighter. You only need the smallest dot and it just changes everything so dramatically that it's difficult to use. So a bit of yellow ochre is good. Yeah, that's yellow. Or raw sienna, or any kind of dirty yellow. White, put white on your palette from the very beginning of painting. Always put white down. Never leave white off. And so I've got that, and I need something from the blue. So I'm just going to put, I only bought this, phthalo turquoise.
Oh, I
So,
like that,
yeah, so I put a bit of that. It's not a true blue, it's kind of a
Green,
little bit greeny, but that's fine.
yeah.
Something with a bit of blue in it. Pastel blue would be good too.
Excuse me, Kat, is that just for a headband, or are you going to...
That's in the skin. That's in, actually it's in pretty much everything. So there we are. That's my palette to start with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colours down. Well, if you include white as a colour. So start with nothing more than that. You don't need any more colours than that. You can add colours later. So I want a reasonable sized brush. Yeah, that'll do. And I'll wash the white off because I did wipe it. So we don't want a really wet brush, but a little bit damp's okay. Now, I want to map out the big shapes. So the first thing, I'll get my kind of dark, I might just use actually a burgundy, maybe a little bit of that yellow in there. So see, it takes the red out. I'll put a dot of blue, doesn't really matter, but I'm going to just put those darks in, kind of like that. See here, I might just even put a bit of, so this is like a map. Not too wet, like you don't want to really wet your paint, but it can be a little bit kind of wet, but not like dripping. So I'm just kind of get that in there. That sort of, this is the start of the dark kind of here. Now see how we got this colour, there's a dark, and then we've got this. So I'll just lighten that up a bit. So I'll put a bit more yellow in that and a little bit of white, maybe a little bit of blue. So I'm getting that, oh, that's a bit too much, so a bit more yellow and red. See, I get a colour like this. And I can just sort of lay that in there. It's a little bit yellow, but see, I'll put it on and I think, a little bit yellow, but I'm not going to wipe it off. I'm going to leave it there, I'm working very dry. So when you work dry like this, it's easy to lay the paint back on top of that in about 2 minutes. So if it's a bit too yellow, I put its complementary in purple to get rid of the yellow, so I can put a little bit more of that burgundy. And I'll go with that, I think. So then take a little bit more white actually. So I can use this pink. See, I want to add white, but not a lot of white, so I can add the pink, which is pink and yellow, which is a more subtle addition of white. So I'll come up under the eye, get there. Don't want lumps in this first layer, get that tone down there. Maybe get some of that necking, a bit more of that. I feel like this is a difficult palette. I think I want some brown on my palette. So I could do that. I can go, it's a bit hard to mix these colours. I want to do something quicker, so I add brown. Then I can, so what's that? Round eye brown. So see if I get this Van Dyke brown and add a bit of that to it and a bit of yellow, then I get like a more browny, closer colour to what's there. So that's better. Always put a bit of white in. Yes, that brown and that blue together, I get a good dark. See, that's a nice kind of dark. So I'll put the under the nose because I need to map that out. Actually, while I'm here, I might just put that little subtle bit into the eyes and the brows with that dark. That works well. And I'm more dragging it than you see. I can go over that with the dark. I can work on that, but I won't do that just yet. I'll get some of that blue now because that's quite nice. I'll just stick a bit up here for that. Take it up there. And then I can see, I want to kind of get darker in there. So yeah, I will go back to this brush, wipe it. Make it dark with that blue and that brown because I liked that. A bit more brown in there. And I'm going to map out that. See how it's easy to go on top of what I've just painted. So I can take that right under there like that. A little bit back there. We can come down on this side too. And join that down. And with big scribbles. And see how there's light in here. I'm going to leave that in with that red there for the minute. Like I can map those in like that. Now I want to get into just some of the light in the face. So I'll put that brush away. I'll get a slightly smaller brush, still not terribly small. You don't want to go too small. And I'm going to chisel out those eyes a bit. So there's a lot of grey in the white of the eyes. It's never white, so don't ever go white. I mix a bit of the skin tone with a bit of grey. Makes a nice kind of tone. And I can sort of section out those eyes just to see where I'm going with it. A bit bluer underneath. So I'll take what's on my brush and tweak it with what's on here, like tweak what's on my brush. So I get a variation of the tone that's on my brush rather than, that's too blue, put a bit more brown in it. Rather than stretching the paint that was on my brush as far as it will go, I tweak it. And it's all about doing a lot of work on here, solving all your problems on here, your tones and colours, and then putting the minimum onto here. That makes sense. I'll get some pink, so I'll use that pink and tweak it with a bit of burgundy. So I get more of a pink, more of that pink, bit of white. I feel that's a bit dirty, so I'll put a bit of yellow in it. So I'm mixing, yeah, that's not bad. Now, what is this? I don't know how light it is, so if I put it there, I can see the lightness of it, so it's probably better on this side. So I'll sort of use that to get some of those tones across the middle of there like that. Here, up there. And then I'll just, see that nice pink there? I haven't got the right red, so what I'll do is I'll get a tiny bit of like a warmer red, a truer red. What is that red? Crimson. Cad red would work, and I'll just put a little bit of that in. See, that's better colour than what the burgundy would do.
Yeah.
And I can just use that sort of here, a minute here, and a little bit down here. Now I'll take what's on my brush, so I'm still using what's on my brush, and tweak the colour I just used into something more there. So a little bit of brown, a little bit of blue in it, more brown, more yellow actually because it's too grey. Yeah, that's not bad. Get something close enough and I can put this tone in. Where's my mouth? It's sort of here, so I'll come under here, go over that. See, I'm going over things now into here. See how that tone sort of starts building that up there like that? A little bit in this eye here, a little bit lighter there, so I'll mix a bit of white in with it. A bit of white. So in here, and I'll just put a bit on the bottom of the lip so you see, I can see where my lips are now. That helps. And then you make a series of assessments, like what do I need to do next? You see something and go, oh, I can't figure that out. Then paint it in to figure out where it is. So that, see, I can see my bit of tone under there. And then I want the light on the bottom of the chin because that's really throwing me down here. So to start with white, it's very light down there, and some of that pink. A bit of that pink. Probably could have used that straight pink. but I'll put that there and then this mark there, and some of these light areas to help down here. So there's a nice light there and a nice light there, and a nice light down the nose. And see, now we can start to see what's going on here. Here, I have to get rid of that bit of chin there, see that? I'll take another brush. I've got 4 brushes on the go. Make sure you wipe them all the time. Wipe them really so they're not dripping. What happens if you paint too wet is you can't lay the paint on top, you've got to get it to dry, and it kind of gets a muddy mess. So this drier method of painting is sort of nice to chisel up the chin. We'll put some gowning. So I'll use more of this yellow in there, see a colour like that.
Yeah.
So we just kind of go a bit of this, few marks like that there, maybe a little one there. Right, now what? I want to do something down the side of that nose. It's a sort of pinky grey, so I'd make it pink, a bit of that red, a bit of that yellow, so I'll make it orange with some white. And then I'll knock it off with a bit of this, a bit of brown in it. Just take it, see how I take it into the corner, not the whole pile? That might do. So it'll come down here like this. Not mixed well enough. See how I've got a streak? I've got to mix it better. So take it back on here, squash the paint out of my brush, really flatten my brush and mix it, like mash it together almost. It's so important to mix your paint well. That goes under there like that. We can take a bit of that up there. What else? Oh, I could just, a little line down there maybe. And now I want to come up here and really lighten that. So I'll take what's on my brush, take a whole lot of white and go into that pile. Because that gives me something here. So I'll take, where does that go? Right up into the part. And see how I'm re-sculpting or reshaping it at almost every time I kind of come in here. That's nice. A little bit here, a little bit here. I really should be standing straight back. Now I want to go, now see I've got a nice map. Now I want to put some detail into the eye, so I'll go down to a little brush. Put this little brush out, and what can I see in my eyes that needs doing? The top brow, so start with that maybe. This and here. A little bit of pink in there. How am I going for time? Oh good, going good for time. So we'll start with maybe that one there. And a little bit browner on the other side. Now some of my piles are getting dry. It's so important not to mix into that dry paint. Once it's dry, it's done, it's dead. Move on to another clean bit until you fill up your whole palette. Either turn it over, and then that little bit of white, so I'll wipe my brush and mix it into that light bit there. A little bit of white again here, just lift that up. And I'm just going to look at this. See the white dots? I want to put them in right now because it makes the eyes look a bit more real. I need the correct little brush for this one, which is just a little
dot. You've got a dot brush.
Yeah, a little pointy round brush. Little pointy round brush. Tiny bit of water, wipe it. A little bit of white. I line up my eyes with those dots, so I make sure they're both on the right level. So there's one there. So once I've lined them up, then I can paint around them. You see this one's a bit low, so I'll just tweak that by looking at that, and then I'm going to put it aside and go back to the other one. Make a kind of grey colour. A little bit of water for the eyes, so I get a nice flow. And I'm just going to lift that one up to there, see? And just to level it up, and this one, so we can, there we are. And I'll just do the inside of the eye there because I've got my circle bit in the wrong spot. I'll do that with this stiffer brush, and it's just light pink. I can take some of that light pink. So I'm kind of reshaping that to get it in the right spot. Take some of that pink.
You're moving between bristle and soft as well, aren't you?
Yes, I am. When I need to put on sort of more paint, I like to go for the stiffer brushes. And then when I loosen the paint out with water, you can go, yeah, the softer ones works better. So I don't want to get too caught up in detail yet because I'm still not quite ready. I've got to, does it look like fun?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is fun, isn't it?
It's fun watching you do it, Kat.
Yeah.
It's great fun.
Okay, now what do I need to do? Tell me and I'll do it. What can you see?
Maybe
Go on, yes.
elongate like her face.
Yes.
It's to narrow her face a little
I
bit.
need to narrow her face, yeah?
Yeah, by putting
Yep.
the dark, more dark.
Yes, down probably this side, isn't it?
Mm.
So let's get some of that dark again. Brown, blue. More of that blue and that brown. Mix it really well. Take the white off my brush. See, I didn't wash it, I just wiped it. Okay, we'll cut that into sort of here. So you sort of find your place first before you do the full line. Just sort of pull it into close to where you need. And what do I also need more brows, so I'll put that in as well. Figure that one out. Come down here, and this one too could go like this. We need a bit of that up there, a bit of that up there. And actually we need to probably take that off the page a bit, or take some grey up there. That kind of helps, and this one can come off there a bit. And yeah, we've got some stuff there. So I also can see I need to join the nose across a bit. So I use that grey, another grey again. I'm looking at that. See, I've gone back to this one, forget about that one for a minute, because I'm still getting these main shapes. See, I'll pull that and lift that bit up there too. But I also need to kind of bring that eye in there, bring that one in here a bit. Work a bit under her nose. So a bit of tone under her nose. Mixing up like a bit of burgundy, a bit of yellow.
Do you want some light on?
No,
Well, we can't, because
the reflection off the.
yeah.
Gorgeous, thank you.
See that lighter tone for under the nose here, so I'm just kind of working with that up there a bit. Yeah, we just have to put up with being in the dark, won't we? A bit more under there, like that. What else? What can you see? Tell me.
She is emerging.
She's
Yes,
emerging.
she is.
That's
The
correct.
nose looks a bit too far out, does it, or not?
A bit crooked.
Yes, a bit crooked.
Yeah, so now I need to look at this one perhaps, so I can, what I do need to do is look at these shapes under the nose. So rather than trying to change the nose, it's around the nose, so, because the nose is a bit long too probably. So I can take, I'll wash this brush. So I want a nice clean brush, so I'm going to go for the light and wipe it really well. I'll take some of that pink, because that's a good kind of starting point for the light, and a bit of white in that. So I will kind of chisel that bit up there, go a bit cleaner here, and down here a bit. We'll join that bit there, and a few little marks down here. Extend that chin, and then I've got just, that does go right up there actually. So I'm really going to look at, I need more dark here too, so that will really help with the nose. So I'll get my kind of shadow colour, but it's not super dark, so it's sort of, really try and get the tone roughly right now as you start building it up. So we'll kind of come in here, so that joins to there a bit, and then to try something like that. Take that up a little bit there as well. Then I'll put that hole in a little bit higher. I think it's a bit low, so I can put that hole more up there now.
And she
Yeah.
does look like she's got a bit of a cleft, actually.
Little cleft
Yeah. She needs to
down here.
above on her top lip, it does from the here.
Oh, it's, yeah, because it's not.
It's a bit distracting. I think it's a bit distracting.
Yeah, and bits, and that's the thing, as you're painting, you'll see something, you go, oh, that's distracting, so fix that bit. but fix it in relation to everything else,
Yeah.
not just on its own. So I've got, what I do need to do with this one is lift this side of the lip, sort of move it across that way, there, and maybe we'll put some light, and move it again until you get it right. And in the moving of things, beautiful, interesting things happen. You get interesting marks and lovely accidents. See, that's better.
Yeah.
Looking a bit better. And that's a bit heavy, so we'll just tweak that. And we'll add some light through there. So you can sort of see what's happening now. I want to put, you might want to put, I love doing this. So I'll mix up a pink again. I always like to put a tiny bit of yellow ochre in my pink because it kind of looks more natural. But I love these kind of lovely, bright sort of cheek kind of colours there, like that.
Yeah.
Put a little bit of that under the lip as well. Pull it that way.
Oh,
Got
yeah.
a little bit whiter on one side. Down here, so we'll pull that down there, see? And she's emerging.
Yes, she is now.
She is. It doesn't take about that amount of time to emerge, so.
Well, it's pretty fast, me.
So you just sort of don't be afraid of your mess in the beginning. It's sort of a series of corrections once you've got the main thing down. Yeah. And now, just while I need a rest from the face so she can dry a bit, I just move around. So I'll put some toning sort of down here for that, and I can work in this area here and let that dry a bit in there, so then I can come in with more detail in there. A bit of that, a bit of with some blue, and I'll make and maybe freshen up your palette. But I'm just getting some of this toning here. And I might even want to, at this stage, because I love doing this with these old Renaissance-y looking, get a bit of gold. Gold. I love doing this with the Renaissance and old looking stuff, just having a bit of gold poking through. You can
Yeah,
see
I noticed you did in one of those.
Yeah, a bit on Frida.
Looks fantastic.
Yeah, I love that. It makes it look kind of old, doesn't it? Or something. But anyway, put some of that down because you don't want that as a top surface. You want to paint over it again and have bits poking through. So I might just sort of chuck a bit there and just put a bit on, sort of drag a bit down maybe, and just let that sit and dry, and then I'll go over it again. So, and then you've got to stand back and think, I can see I've got a chisel in this side of the drawer, pull out that one there. I can see I need to sort of work on this area, and then all the detail, of course. And when you do get into the detail, you take a little brush and you move to this one, and you just do very slowly, you slow down now. And you can thin out your paint if it's dry on there. You can thin out your paint with a bit of water, and just slowly sort of put shape things like that. Put that little bit of nose hole in there. I mean nose. What is that?
Yeah,
The flat.
yeah.
The flat. Put a little spot of white on the nose too. Come in here with the little details there. Just that could be a bit pinker, and just gently pull it together. Now that everything's in the right spot, I can come into the detail and just keep building. I have to work on the whites of the eyes. You can see that one here needs to kind of come up, so I'll put that one up there a little bit bigger. It's a little bit darker on the other side, so tone what I've got on my brush down a little bit darker. Put the other one in. Mix it. See how well I'm mixing it? It's so important to mix it well. I don't think I can ever stress that one enough.
Can I ask a question? How do you manage, because obviously the colours that you mix and when it goes on there and dries, it dries darker.
It
so
does.
Do you think I do it lighter on the palette because of, is that how you think?
I know
it
that
might
is
be just an automatic thing. But
I think you get used to it. It does dry darker. It only dries darker because the medium in the paint is opaque. It's opaque white when it's wet, and when it dries clear. So it dries to the true colour of the pigments, whereas while it's wet, it's lightened with the medium being opaque white. So I think when you put it down, you see the true colour, but when you mix it together and put it on, because it's thinned out and there's more medium because of the thinner surface, you're seeing more of the white. So I guess here you see a true colour. When you first put it on, it's not true. So yeah, if you solve it here, you have better luck with it there, really.
So you just stick to what looks right here.
Looks true there. And I can put it on, it's only it's only by a shade. It really only dries darker by 1 or 2 shades. It's not a huge amount. Yeah. Also, I think the thinner it is too, the more it sort of disappears when you put it on when it dries. It's sort of, if you've thinned it down with water and put it on, it looks like dramatic, but then you come back 2 minutes later and you can't even see where it is. So when you thin it down, you get a much more subtle.
Okay.
And then in the later layers, you can thin it down to do more subtle work.
You don't use a medium at all, just water?
Today I'm not. So sometimes I use medium. The thing with water just separates the pigment so it doesn't dry as hard. With the medium kind of is a paint, clear paint, so it holds all the pigment together. So if you've used a lot of water in your painting, you put a varnish over it, it'll sit everything down, it will lock everything in place, and it'll be as tough as if you've used a medium with it. So mediums are good for keeping the paint, like thinning out the colour, making it transparent, but making it strong, so when it dries it's really strong, and you can scrub into it and you won't move it. But thinning it out with water, once it's dry, you could scrub it and move it, so then you can lock it in with a varnish, or just seal it with clear medium for the next layer, or you can even 50-50 varnish medium and water too. But yeah, sometimes I like using water because it's sort of, it's easy to move around, it's not sticky, and then give it a coat of clear at the end and you've got a very strong painting that you could wash.
It's been a few months since I started this painting as a demo in my Expressive Portrait short course, and it's been sitting in my studio, catching my eye every now and then, making me think about completing it and putting a video together for YouTube. So I want to thank Tracy for filming the class demo for me during the session and then sending it to me in batches. It was a long video which I edited shortly after, and it's been sitting there in my iMovie app ever since. So now I'm outside among the sounds of the neighbourhood, birds and other noises. This is better than background music. It's free and can't be licensed, meaning this video won't be flagged for using sounds that I don't have the rights to use. Now I want to say a few words about the process from a fresh perspective. Fresh eyes, we say in the art world, meaning when you step back for a while and then revisit the work at a later date, doing this you see things that you missed when in the moment. Painting an expressive portrait is an intriguing dance, or maybe more like a wrestle between observation and interpretation. One must translate the essence of the subject through colour choices and placements of brush marks, all the while sticking to a correct rendition of form. The aim is to achieve a working balance of correctly positioned features, bone structure and skin tone depicting likeness to the subject, while applying an interesting application of expressive mark making to capture something entirely unique. The process requires technical precision and technical abandonment at the same time. One must let the paint do its thing, accept the imperfections that naturally occur when applying paint with a brush, and work with them to achieve a loosely painterly effect, carefully making corrections only where needed to achieve a likeness to the subject. The smallest brushstrokes in a portrait can dramatically alter likeness and can even alter humanness. A single brushstroke of highlight on the edge of a lip or a subtle dab of shadow beneath an eyebrow can transform a flat shape into one that contours, sometimes in every direction. For example, a delicate mark of white on the cheek can suggest high cheekbones. Move it up just a fraction and you might suggest heavy bags under the eyes. A misplaced stroke of colour might distort the feature to put shadow where there is none, creating a weird hole and other non-human appearing effects. These minute details are especially critical in areas like the eyes and mouth, so one must pay more attention to those areas where precision can convey likeness and personality. As we near completion of a painting, slowing down and closely observing shapes, tone and form is essential. This practice makes us step out of the relentless pace of modern life and connect with the present moment. It's therapeutic. In a world that prioritises constant stimulation, taking the time needed to complete a painting can feel radical. Perhaps that's part of where the rebellious artist persona comes from. It's not the crazy ideas, concepts and political commentary of contemporary art, but the time wasting in making it. Artists don't really need much to create art. Some of the best contemporary art is made from recycled materials. Completing a painting requires what is often called mindfulness, being present where applying the final strokes of paint. The last paint marks are the most deliberately applied and may either be the most noticeable or applied in a way to soften what's too noticeable. The finale of a painting process is not just about seeing, but truly perceiving the nature of the subject and what about it we're wanting to convey. Here, we must be accepting of the limiting qualities of the materials on hand and somehow poetically join the nature of the subject with the materials being used. Speaking to other artists over the years, I've noticed that we all love beginnings. Starting paintings is the most fun. The spontaneity of loosely mapping out an idea in whatever colour and material, seeing what emerges, the beautiful paint marks that haven't yet been overworked, trying new materials, that brand new tube of colour as yet explored, that gorgeous surface just waiting to be covered in paint. There's a consuming quality to quantity, but it is necessary to paint a few works at once, to not get too caught up in excess detail too quickly, to let a painting sit for a while and revisit it later with those fresh eyes I talked about earlier. All the artists I speak to want to and need to finish many works. They have many unfinished works. This is normal practice. And really, almost everything in life is a work in process, isn't it? I'm a work in process. So is our garden and even our home. To complete something, then, is quite miraculous. To say, this is done, there's nothing more to do to this, is an amazing achievement. So, put aside some time each week to work towards completing something. That's something I need to do more of. I say this a lot and then get sidetracked, but perhaps if I record it, I'll stick to it a bit better. Perhaps this is how to think about it. Completing paintings is the most radical thing an artist can do right now. The end.